Do you know what time it is? It's time for another Spreadsheet Life Google Sheets challenge, and in today's challenge, I will be testing your skills working with data validation in Google Sheets. As with all of these videos, you can find a link in the description below to download the spreadsheet. That way you can attempt each question before you watch me do it. As always, if that sounds like a fun time to you, well, then let's get to it. Alrighty, let's get started. For question 1, your task is to add data validation to ensure that only date values may be entered in the start date field for each employee. So the first thing that you should do is select the range C4 through C13 where all of the start dates will go. Next, go to Data and then Data Validation, and in the panel on the right, click on the Add Rule button. And then, under Criteria, select Is Valid Date. Then below, where it says If the data is valid, select the Reject the Input option. You can then click on Done, and you can also close the panel on the right. Now, the user will only be able to enter valid date values for the start date. And that officially completes question number 1. Let's move on to question number 2. For question number 2, your goal is to add data validation so that only valid email addresses may be entered for each employee. To begin, select the range of D4 through D13 where all of the email addresses will go. After that, go to Data and then Data Validation. In the panel on the right, click on the Add Rule button, and then under Criteria, select Text is Valid Email. Then below, where it says If the data is valid, select the Reject the Input option. You can then click on Done, and you can also close the panel on the right. Now, the user will only be able to enter valid emails for each employee. And that officially completes question number 2. Let's move on to question number 3. For question number 3, you must create a drop-down menu that allows the user to assign any of the available roles to each employee. To pull this off, begin by selecting the range C4 through C13 where all of the roles will go. After that, go to Data and then Data Validation. In the panel on the right, click on the Add Rule button, and then under Criteria, select Drop-down from a range. Next, click on the Select Data Range button, and then select the range E4 through E9. Then click on OK. Finally, you can click on Done, and you can close the Data Validation Rules panel on the right. You now have a drop-down menu that you can use to assign one of the available roles to each employee. Awesome. With question 3 complete, let's move on to question number 4. For question number 4, your task is to add data validation to mimic the formatting and drop-down menu that you see on the right. In other words, you want to apply the same data validation that you see for H4 through H13 to the range of C4 through C13. Although this might seem like the toughest question yet, solving it is actually not that complicated. All you have to do is select any cell in H4 through H13, and then go to Data and then Data Validation. And in the panel on the right, go ahead and select the rule that already exists. And now, under where it says Apply to Range, click on the Select Data Range button. Then, in the window that appears, click on Add Another Range. You can then select the range C4 through C13, and then click on OK. Finally, you can click on Done and close out of the panel on the right. And now you are officially done with question number 4 and your Spreadsheet Life Google Sheets challenge number 6. So tell me, how did it go? Did you find that working with data validation in Google Sheets was pretty easy, or was it rather difficult? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. I'd really be curious to hear how you did. Also, If you got some value out of this video or just had a really good time, I highly encourage you to subscribe. That being said, thanks for sticking with me throughout all 4 questions, and until next time, I will see you in the next Spreadsheet Life video.